So the other day I was making my way downtown, walking fast, faces passed, and suddenly I came across three different scenes. The first one was one guy on the phone, with his smartphone, a young guy telling his friend, Wesh frérot, t'es massa, tu vas kiffer, which would translate more or less like, yo bro, check this out, you'll proper rate it, or something like that in English. The second scene, there was a guy on his own in a job interview. It seemed like a job interview, and he was using protocols, following the structure of a typical job interview. And in the third scene, there was a group of girls who were playing, like dancing and singing with a loudspeaker. And suddenly they had this moment of cringe in which they looked at each other and they bursted laughing because they stumbled upon an ad for barbecue gear. I suppose they didn't have the paid subscription for Spotify or something like that. And then when I saw that, I thought about how this type of interaction is framed. So let's check the three interactions. So for the first guy, he was very persuasive, but he was also very convinced about his friend's taste. He was also using heavy tribal undertones and heavy slang, which can mean familiarity and closeness to the other person. The second case, the guy in the job interview, he was using, as I said previously, like language protocols, but he was also trying to be persuasive. So he was trying to put balance from both sides. And in the third case, the girls were playing what we could call the attunement, some sort of attunement of a pre-affective attunement, to be more precise, in which that moment in which you suddenly feel something collectively, and then you scan each other's faces. That's the game they were playing, and then once they finished scanning the emotions and they were sure of what the other person was feeling, they make their own emotions resurface, so they collectively bursted laughing. So as you can see, we have these types of interactions everywhere, and that's what made me think about language, the role of language as soft power. So I was writing in my newsletter, for example, that soft power is also about the hierarchization and the role of words and the phrases and how we use language in order to achieve a goal. And I think that soft power can be defined like that, like the way we use language in order to persuade, in order to seduce, in order to achieve a goal, in order to inform, and so on. And then we can see that language as soft power is something that we use every day, whether we like it or not. It is soft power deployed everywhere. And I also thought about this from two different perspectives. From the perspective of the cultural worldviews that I have worked. I worked on that topic previously when I talked. I worked on the cultural intelligence compass. So when I was talking about the importance of language, of using the language, and how to integrate cultural views and so on, that's one thing. But another thing is the rise of AI and LLMs. So all the outrage that LLMs have caused is because of this, because it's like statistical probability showed that language can be manipulated in different ways. Now we have to stop here and reflect on the fact that in this case, it is not a matter of crafting a perfect message. I mean, it doesn't exist anyway. But what we have to think about is the subtlety and other layers of the language. If we think about those subtleties and the role of words in context, we can be fine. I mean, we know that we can find uh, the best way to craft a message better than AI, and that's what we have to understand. Um, I was also thinking about the role of language as soft power within ourselves, and also in our relationship with the world. So the thing is this: we have an internal communication system and an external communication system, and in the middle, that's where we play the game of language as soft power. So what we have to do here is we have to build a better internal world and a better external world, or a better relationship with those systems. So in the internal world, or the internal system, what we do is we well, through language, we get to use it as a tool to know ourselves better. We use it to communicate better with ourselves, with our emotions, feelings, and opinions, and we get to create better knowledge relationships, semantic relationships, and so on. We also create bridges, better bridges between linguistic systems, especially for those who are multilingual agents or people who speak several languages, and that has several implications in terms of cognition, and in terms of our capacity to express ourselves in different languages. Now that's one thing. And for the external system, we have different possibilities as well. We can say, for example, that through soft power, we can improve our relationship with other people, with other groups, activities, companies, associations, you name it. You get to see them better for what they are, and you get to interact better in terms of how language is strategized from one side and the other. We can also speak better. Of course, we improve our interactions if we use soft power strategically. And then, as we can see, if we use these two systems, then we are leveling up, for saying it in some way, our soft power through language. That's how you get to persuade. That's how you get to seduce, to inform, to educate, to cooperate, and to impose your message or whatever you want to do with language. Now, the importance of this is that if you don't see language as soft power, then you will only be scratching the surface of what you say and what you perceive through language. And for me, at least, is something that we should think about. Of course, we can't be everywhere looking at people and trying to analyze the interactions, but what we have to do, though, is we need to be aware that that's happening. And especially in this era where the world is hyper connected, and we have AI creating messages everywhere, texts and so on, through social media, through any means of communication, and it's only going to get worse. So we need to understand that we need to position ourselves in a strategy game with our words and the words we perceive, and understand that, of course, language is something that evolves. Now, how does that evolve? That's there are many factors that are related to the growth of language. But what we have to understand is that we have a particular relationship with language, like a personal relationship, and we need to understand that. I also wanted to talk. I mean, if we want to see that relationship better with ourselves, I wanted to reference again. I talked about the work of Ilan Barinholtz in a previous video about the embedding, so the linguistic embedding and the sensorial perceptual embedding. So two different embeddings, or two different systems. So linguistic system, in which language is a self-sustained system, as LLMs show, through next token prediction and statistical probability. So it's like you can have Shakespeare, Cervantes, and any author in terms of statistical probability. They are there. And we also have the sensorial perceptual system, which is basically how our nervous system, how we interact with the world and how we are uh, perceiving it and interpreting it, and making it our own interpretation of the world. Now, those two systems, and then there is the third system, the third embedding, in which we don't understand how both systems are related or how they are connected. It makes me think about the verbalization process, which is frequently used by translators and interpreters, which is basically decomposing a message, decomposing a text, or decomposing a language, and then transforming it into the other. So I think that's more or less what happens between these two embeddings. We need to be aware that this kind of process happens within us all the time. And even though we cannot see that explicitly, we need to understand that that's happening within us at all times. And even though we cannot reach that, we could at least think in terms of patterns in nature, patterns in communication, patterns in interactions, pattern max. Basically, that's what you have to do. So you do that, and you will start seeing reality for what it is, a set of patterns. So that's how you get to improve your relationship with language. That's how you get to improve your relationship with the external world, and that's how you improve your relationship with your embeddings. So this is important in order to maximize your metacognition, understand how you understand and how you learn, and how your inner systems work. And it is also important to see intelligence tasks from a wider perspective. I think that's, as humans, that's what we can do today in a world where machines are taking over many traditional tasks that were related to intelligence, like problem solving and things like that. So I think it's more a matter of understanding what we can do with language as soft power, understanding that beyond all of that, we need to understand patterns, how we detect patterns, and how we deploy our soft power, as simply as that. And remember that the more languages you know, the more languages you understand about, and the more cultural worldviews you integrate, the better your soft power. That's why I'm working hard on this. I'm trying to create tools and methods and other things that will be coming soon. And I mean, in order to improve my own understanding of this, and of course helping you with this. So that's all I wanted to say for now. So check out my newsletter, check out my website, because there are more things coming soon. I'm posting more frequently on all my socials, but if you want to stay, updated with everything happening in the Orthodox website, just go there or follow the newsletter, and see you soon. Bye bye.